Hello and welcome everyone. Today I wanted to give you a little guide on how to do naval warfare on your way to Great Britain. As we all know, there are a few different types of maps in war selection. The maps with mainly land, the maps with different islands where all players are tightly packed on one of them and are required to colonize the islands for resources if they want to keep producing units in the industrial era, and the maps which have the shape of the letter C. This last type of map, the C-shaped map, is what I will be talking about today. Because in those games there's always one or two players who spawn all the way in the back, and let's say that is you. Now you're too far away from the front line to do a Stone Age rush, and possibly too far to help in the Bronze Age as well. So one option would be to send some workers to the front, build barracks there in the Iron Age, which takes a while, risks your workers to be eaten by animals, which furthermore might require to send more workers than you initially needed, so that your economy already suffers a bit more than necessary and a quick progress is basically impossible. So, let me teach you a good and, in my opinion, important playstyle for this scenario. The match starts, you use West Spirit's technique of determining your backline position. Surrounded by water, and now you know you will not need to invest in bulwarks to defend yourself, so instead you can focus on economy. Therefore, I recommend you to skip the stonecutter, as it will only slow down progression and will not be required until the medieval era. We age up to the Bronze Age as soon as possible, which should leave enough population space for 4 to 5 fishing boats from our first docks. If you find iron right away, advance to the Iron Age. If you struggle to find iron, researching the population upgrade first is just as fine. We do not need the eye's intelligence, so don't bother getting that and go straight to the medieval period once you have around 54 to 56 workers with 7 to 8 fishing boats, so that you have enough population space for 10 battle boats. Why are we building these trash boats, you might ask? It is crucial to this strategy that you have 10 battle boats before you upgrade your docks in the medieval period. It also means you can send them to the enemy sooner. When arriving in the medieval period of Western Europe, you can upgrade one of your docks together with the initial economical upgrades that you will want to do to maximize your fishing efficiency, and then, preferably before you arrive at your enemy's docks, upgrade your battle boats into galleys, which should leave you with a population 120 out of 90. And that is why it's so crucial to build the battle boats before upgrading your docks. You now have enough time to research the next population upgrade and build houses in order to send more ships to the enemy's shores. But the first battle boats make sure that you are contesting the enemy's beach before the 20-minute marker, with a fleet that probably nobody expects. Destroying the enemy's fishing economy and harbors is so crucial, and let me explain to you why. One fishing boat replaces at least 4 workers on a farm and saves you the constant wood cost of buying new fields of wheat or chickens and goats. It also saves you the time of recruiting said workers, allowing you to progress quick through the ages. But if you lose control over the beaches, you lose all these benefits, and now you have to balance it out. You will have to recruit workers or take them off your wood and iron economy, which is basically comparable to killing some workers from your enemy. They are typically not protected and also cannot simply hide in a tower. A tower near the beach might protect your harbor, but not your fishing boats. And that is really the main priority. The second priority is to gain control over the enemy beach line, making sure they cannot build new harbors and a fleet, which is why it's so handy to have 10 galleys to patrol the beaches. Meanwhile, you research catapult ships and the docks and have more population space, so that you can now send catapult ships to the enemy's beach, allowing you to further destroy their economy and maybe even kill an enemy or two, which would otherwise have been powerful opponents due to their fishing boosted economy. This way, you help out your team a lot. But we are only in the medieval era so far. Of course, you will want to send bombardier ships and research the eye upgrade to see where your enemy's bases are to complete the job. Maybe even support an ally to land workers and troops behind enemy lines, but once you reach the industrial era, the strategy changes. You have secured the enemy beach and cut their economy off from fishing, which by the way also cuts them off from the resources on the islands, which most likely exist. Now you're Great Britain with the mighty dreadnoughts, and I give you that, the dreadnoughts feels absolutely amazing to play, since it shoots from 4 double cannons and takes out enemy capitals quickly if you manage to form a group of 5 or more. But the more important aspect in my opinion is to support your front line now. Remember when you were thinking about sending workers or warriors to the front line to help your friends? Well, we cannot neglect them all game, especially while we have access to the unique sea forts that Great Britain comes with. These defensive structures do not just pose a serious threat to many medieval and industrial units, they also let your teammates know that you care, and your enemies know that they better keep their distance to the sea from now on. Plus, they don't even obstruct your allied territory, allowing any Germany or Turkey player to build their own defensive structures on the land, like mortar towers and pillboxes. This way they are also immune to being destroyed by enemy cavalry rushes and the likes. Fun fact, you personally benefit from alive teammates more than from dead teammates. Often this sort of map has at least one or two thin land bridges connecting bigger pieces of land, and this is often where the battle takes place. So as the great strategist that you are, you will want to build a harbor on each side and recruit trawlers to build sea forts on both sides, in multiple rows, parallel to the shoreline. But don't forget to build some of them around your own shoreline just in case the enemies sneak some battleships back into the sea. 10 sea forts around your shoreline should allow for enough time to react before they can harm your economy or even destroy your capital. As the backline player with a strong economy and access to overseas resources, you're also a great candidate for building a wonder for your team that you will most likely be able to defend as long as you follow the instructions of this video. While the wonder costs a lot of resources, you should still be able to place a considerable amount of sea forts for your teammates and support them further with tank destroyers and anti-tank riflemen at the front line if that is required. Let me sum this video up. Basically, as soon as you find out you are the backline player on a sea map, you rush your economy up, send a fleet of 10 battle boats to the enemy shores, upgrade them to galleys before you arrive to successfully cut your enemies off from fish and resources close to the beach. Allow allied players the landing of troops to open a second front closer to enemy town halls and workers that are most likely not protected by soldiers or many towers. Increase your sea presence by sending stronger and more lethal ships. Once you reach the Industrial Revolution, you try to maintain the control of the enemy shoreline and build defensive sea forts around the front line, around your own shoreline, and if you feel like it, even around the enemy shoreline. However, their effectiveness might depend on the situation. If you succeed following the strategy, you will have great impact by weakening the enemy's economy, securing allied fishing grounds, maybe being able to take out one or two enemies throughout the match while protecting your allies from this fate, and effectively helping the frontline players to defend themselves against approaching enemy units in the late game. While unexperienced players may see you as a useless AFK player due to your lack of frontline presence, but I assure you that any experienced player appreciates your work, and so should you when you see a teammate keeping the enemy fleets at bay. I hope this video helped you. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you in the next one.